Okay, okay. ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋದಾ? Shall we start? After a gap, I'm doing again. Today also not very long, maybe 35 to 40 minutes only, not much. Okay. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Oh, okay. We have discussed the one point, important point about Brahman and Ishwara. I just review in 2 or 3 sentences, and then we shall proceed with the present topic. Brahman and Ishwara. These words are used synonymously in Shankara's Bhashya, whereas post Shankar writes, made Ishwara as a lower level and Brahman as something higher. They made it a permanent thing. Brahman is always higher, that is pure Nirguna, and Ishvara is always Saguna. They called Ishvara as Saguna, Ishvara is the cause. Okay, they called Ishvara as the cause, Ishvara is the cause of the world, Ishvara is the Saguna. So Ishvara is a ruler and all that. But what Shankaracharya says is, Ishvara, Brahman are same. It is only from relative standpoint. The Ishwaratvam, the ruling and causality are only relative. Relative means relative names of same Brahman, not of a lower level of Brahman. Okay, the same Brahman talked from relatively. The same Brahman is called Ishvara, and Brahman both are same. Only in relationally certain qualities, certain features are attributed relationally. Okay, relationally, relatively, certain features are attributed, like he is a ruler, etc. Just because you call him ruler, it doesn't become dual. It remains non-dual Brahmana. It is only relative. Similarly, one is rulership, causality, and omniscience and omnipotence, etc. All these are relative things. Relative with reference to the world, you give as if these are the qualities, but actually they are one with Brahman. Causality is not a quality of Brahman. They say causality, when causality is a quality of Brahman, he becomes Ishvara. See, this is what post Shankara said. When causality, Karanatvam. Causality is Karanatvam. When causality is a quality, is called Ishvara. Okay, this is what they say. But thing is, causality is not a quality. Okay, causality is no quality at all. It is only adhyastha, but only adhyastha. From the worldly standpoint, it is superimposed. Therefore, Brahman in himself is always non-dual. So there is no lower Brahman called causal Brahman, because causality is only a step, teaching step to teach non-duality. Causality is a teaching step to point out the non-dual Brahman. Causality is culminating in non-dual Brahman, because causality is only a teaching method to culminate in non-dual Brahman, but causality itself is not a state. Causality itself is not a state, a lower state of Brahman. It is only, but in Karma Kanda Upasana, they do Adhyaropa and accept that Adhyaropa level alone. Okay, causality which is superimposed on Brahman, omniscience, omnipotence, are various qualities of Ishvara. All these qualities are imposed on Brahman for sake of upasana, for standpoint of karma and upasana. So all these are imposed on Brahman, they are not. That means the idea is there are no qualities of Brahman. Whatever these qualities are imposed, either take them as imposed. Imposed means what? Imposed. See, why not? When you are imposing, why don't we say quality as the post Shankarites told? Post Shankarites called them qualities. Why not qualities? Because these qualities are relative and they are imposed. They don't belong to Brahman, they are only imposed. Okay. Imposed for sake of karma and vyavahara, for all our empirical transactions, they are useful, good enough for imposed one. Okay. Second point about is we call them imposed, not qualities. We call them imposed, not qualities. That's because there is no guna guni relationship. The quality and qualified. This relationship doesn't exist in Brahman. Quality and qualified. Guna guni. Guna guni bhava. This is what Sachidananda Swami Ji says. Guna guni bhava. Quality and qualified. This relationship doesn't exist. Okay? No quality qualified relation. Quality, when you are taking them as a quality, in is an adhyaropa state that is useful for all karma, upasana, for all those things. But what we have seen as qualities don't exist as qualities in him. From his standpoint, it is non-dual Brahman. It is non-dual Brahman as endowed with qualities. From the relative standpoint, from the empirical standpoint, Brahman is seen as endowed with qualities, but in himself is not qualified. Means he doesn't possess the qualities. Okay, because the possession of qualities is created by Shankarites, who is lower than Brahman. So one is he is lower than Brahman. Second is he is in possession of the qualities. See, he is a lower Brahman. They call him lower Brahman, and he is a qualified one. He possesses the qualities. But in Vedanta, there is no question of possessing qualities. Qualities appear relatively in Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa means what? Adhyaropa means looked from empirical standpoints, qualities appear there. The apparent qualities appear only for Vyavaharik, but for himself, there are no qualities. He himself is non-dual. So his own non-duality appears as a quality, but there is no possession of quality. See the difference. There is no quality qualified relationship within Brahman. What is his real nature is taken as a quality from the empirical standpoint. Okay, that is relatively. From the relative standpoint, he appears as if possessing qualities. Appears as if possessing qualities. It is only appearance. Reality, no qualities. It is only nature, real nature, essential nature. But appear as possessing qualities from the relative standpoint, that's all. Therefore, from the relative standpoint, there is appearance of quality. In the real standpoint, there is only non-dual qualityless Brahman. Then this in-between state of one who is possessing quality, this is only a creation. This is only a creation of post-Shankarites, and in keeping with others like Dvaitins, Vishishtadvaitins and others, those who talk of Brahman having qualities, there are certain schools. They talk of Paramatma having qualities. So these people, in accordance with them, in keeping with them, they assumed another Brahman, lower Brahman, as having qualities. So there is a higher Brahman. Brahman doesn't have two stages, two levels. That's all we want to say. All this in the last, how many? 13th. From the 10th point to 13th point. Okay. from 10th to 13th, in all these 10, 11, 12, 13, in these 4 points, we have discussed this point. This is the summary of these 4 points. Okay, all these 4 put together. Then the last point, the 13th point, just I say 1 or 2 sentences and we'll proceed with the today's topic. Then the cause and effect relationship. So causality is not taught in the Shruti. Causality is only an imposed state. Causality is imposed by the Shastra to reveal non-duality. What is taken, what appears as a cause from the standpoint of the world, with reference to the world, in relationship with the world, what appears as a cause in himself is non-cause. This is the teaching. What appears as a cause for the relative standpoint, what appears, Brahman who appears as a cause, who is taken as a cause from the world standpoint of the world, himself is non-dual. That means there is, if there were world, then he would have become a cause. See, if there was a real world, then he would have become a cause. Then we are dismissing the very reality of the world. We are not accepting the very existence of the world. Therefore, there is no question of causality as a really existing. They say, post Shankara writes, causality is a real state because there is a world is a world, and causality is a real state. And then the next step, they go to the higher level. There is another Brahman who is beyond causality. They put Brahman as a two stages, 2 levels. One is a causal Brahma, another is non-dual Brahma. But where is the causal? They say causal is a Brahma which exists at a lower level. There is no existence of, there is only one existence. You can't have 2 Brahmans. So the causal Brahman is only a relative statement. Causal Brahman is only a relative statement, but not a really existing lower Brahman. Okay, there is no really existing lower Brahman. Causative is only presented. Causality is presented, is a relatively from the standpoint of the empirical world. Okay, causality in itself doesn't exist. He himself is non-dual, taken to be causal from the standpoint of the world. As long as you see world as a effect, then he is called as a cause. So same Brahman, the causality is imposed on Brahman. Causality is imposed on Brahman, and you come to the cause. From the effect, which is world, you come to the cause. When you come to the cause, effect goes away. When effect goes away, causality also goes away. Okay? See, anything you take a gold, from the gold an ornament is made. Ornament is an effect, gold is the cause. So we call gold is a cause because from the standpoint of gold, from the standpoint of the cause, before the ornament was produced, there was no effect. There was no ornament. Before ornament was produced, there was no ornament. Then there was only gold. Come to the cause. When you come to the cause, the ornament, which is an effect, ceases to be there. When you come to the cause, the ornament, which is an effect, ceases. When the effect ceases, causality also doesn't exist. So causality is only a tentative step for you to come out of effect, to come from the state of effect, to come from the idea of effect to the cause, to help you to come to the side of the cause. We say it is an effect. An effect is always related to the cause. Effect is dependent upon cause. Effect is related to cause, dependent on cause. In fact, it is not separate from the cause. It is not separate from the cause. Therefore, go to the cause, which is its original source of the effect. Go to the original source, there is no effect. When there is no effect, then causality is a relative name, that relativity ceases. Therefore, there is only non-dual. So this is the way the cause and effect, method of cause and effect is used to teach the non-duality of Brahman. Okay. After this, the most controversial topic. Controversial means they have created, post Shankarites have created. It's a controversial and it is a little complicated also. Why highly complicated topic? We have to patiently listen point by point and distinguish it. Next is what is the state of empirical world? Vyavaharika prapancha. Okay. Is empirical world existing or not? Okay. Empirical world existing or not? Okay. Let us take from three or four standpoints. Then if you take the four standpoints and explain everybody's standpoint, then ultimately, then by comparing and contrasting these four standpoints, this topic becomes clear. Otherwise, this topic is a very complicated one, and this is the special contribution of Swami G. Contribution means clarification. We don't call any extra edition. It was there in Shankara, Swami Ji brought out. First is Advaitin's stand, the Shankara stand. Shankara Satchidanandendra Swami. Okay, Shankara Satchidananda stand. Second is the post Shankarites Vyakhyanakara stand. Okay. Third is Drishti Srishtivada stand. Drishti Srishtivada Solipsis stand. Drishti Srishtivada. Fourth is Buddhist idealist stand. So we have to compare and contrast these four standpoints. Then it becomes clear. These four standpoints. I repeat, one is Shankara Satchidanandendra Advaita stand. Second is Vyakhyanakara stand. Third is Drishti Srishtivada within Advaitins alone, a certain section of Advaitins. Post Shankarites, not Advaitins. Okay, Advaitins only, but post Shankarites. Certain section of post Shankarites, they created Drishti Srishtivada. But note here, in Shankara's Bhashya or in Gaudapada, there is no Drishti Srishtivada, Srishti Drishtivada. This expression, these words are not used. There is no division of Drishti Srishtivada, Srishti Drishtivada. This division doesn't exist in Gaudapada, Shankara, Sureshwara, or even Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that is Veda Vyasa. In Vyasa's writing, in Badarayana is a Brahma Sutra author. So in Vyasa's writing, Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita, in Badarayana, Brahma Sutra, then Gaudapada, third one, fourth one Shankara, fifth is Sureshwaracharya, sixth is Satchidananda Swami. Okay, so in these mainly three or four acharyas previous, there is no division of Drishti Srishtivada and Srishti Drishtivada. And it is a post-Shankarite creation of this division. Once they created this division with a previous effect, with a back effect, they went back, started dividing. Gaudapada is a Drishti Srishtivada and Shankara is a Srishti Drishtivada. They have divided. But Shankara, neither while commenting Gaudapada's Karika nor in Bhashya, nowhere ever he told that Gaudapada is talking of Drishti Srishtivada, I am talking differently. Shankara himself never put as slightly, partly different or totally different or in any sense. Shankara never presented himself as differing from Gaudapada or deviating from Gaudapada in partly or wholly, neither partly nor wholly. Okay, therefore, whatever Gaudapada told, the same thing Shankara told, whatever Shankara told, same thing Gaudapada, therefore, Gaudapada, Shankara, Sureshwara, all these three are just the same teaching. Now, these divisions existed in came later period. Okay, if they came, we don't mind. If they existed, then use those divisions in later period alone. Don't apply it to previous period. Okay, You can't apply it to previous period and start dividing Gaudapada as a Drishti Srishti and Shankara as a Srishti Drishti. You can't divide them because they did. So we'll discuss more. It will come in this topic. So this division did not exist. Okay. They did not explain it that way. So this division of Drishti Srishtivada, Srishti Vishtivada, the problem with them is there are, I think I have to explain many points in these things. Okay, we'll say little bit of Drishti Srishtivada. Then Drishti Srishtivada is little closer to idealist of Buddhists. Buddhist idealists. It is somewhat closer. So Drishti Srishtivada says that in other post Shankarites, Ishvara creates the world. Okay, Ishvara is the creator. Ishvara creates the world. Jiva watches the world and lives in the world. Jiva lives in the world and Ishvara creates the world. This is what other people told. So this Drishti Srishti, then in that case, so they divide Maya and Avidya. I think Maya, Avidya we have already discussed, or it will come. I think Maya, Avidya is not yet come. Oh, Maya, Avidya will come later. When it comes, we will discover. Or we already discussed, I don't remember. Maya, Avidya. So there are many points. They say, so this regarding Maya, Avidya, there is a lot of complication. Okay. Sometimes they say Maya and Avidya synonymous. Sometimes they say Avidya is a part of Maya. Avidya is a limited one. Maya is a total one. This way they say. They put two. So therefore this Maya Avidya concept of Mula Vidya Vadins is complicated. So various acharyas hold various views. You can't blanketing categorize. You can't categorize all of them in one way. They have got different views. Each one holds one view and one view contradicts with other view. Each one explains in his own way. It becomes a highly complex thing. But anyway, Drishti Srishtivada means Ishvara creates the world, Jiva watches it and uses it. Okay, this is Srishti Drishtivada. Ishvara creates, Jiva only lives in the world and uses the world. Okay, and independent of Jiva, there is a world and there is Ishvara. Now, Drishti Srishtivada is only in contrast with this Srishti Drishtivada. They say, okay, now let me repeat this. In Srishti Drishtivada, Ishvara with the help of Maya creates the world. Ishvara is endowed with Maya, he creates the world. And Jiva Jiva only watches the world and lives in the world, is bound by the world and avidya. So, Drishti Srishti Vadins say that you don't need Ishvara, you don't need Maya separately. And he says, Jiva creates the world by his own Maya, by his own avidya. Jiva himself creates. Generally, Ishvara creates and Jiva lives in the world. But here they say, Ishvara is not there. Only Jiva himself creates the world, he lives the world which he himself created, self-created world. Jiva creates himself, lives in the self-created world. And who is the Guru? Who is the Ishvara? And he says, he himself imagines Ishvara. He imagines his own Guru. And with the help, he lives under his imaginary Guru. He lives under imaginary Ishvara. He learns from his imaginary Guru and he gets liberated. This is Drishti Srishtivada. That means a given single individual creates the world. A single individual creates the world. He creates other jivas. Okay. And the example they give is dream example. So it is a jiva srishti. They call Drishti Srishti Vada means Ekajiva Vada also you can call. It is same as Ekajiva Vada. Jiva creates the world. Okay. Jiva creates the world and he himself gets liberated. For this they give Swapna as an example. Dream, dream seen from waking standpoint. The dream world seen from the waking standpoint, it looks that a waking individual alone going into dream, a single man projecting the all dream world and seeing many jivas there, seeing as if there is an Ishvara, seeing the world and wakes up from the world. And this is the thing. Second thing, then another thing about it is Jiva is the creator, dream is an example for it, and in these things, now any explanation you give, you have to give two things. One is an empirical standpoint, another is paramarthika standpoint, absolute standpoint. Vyavaharika and paramarthika. Vyavaharika means karma kanda, human relationship, life, and etc. All those things you have to explain. So, if you give a theory, a model, if you give a theory, if you give a doctrine, theory means a doctrine, you should be able to explain Vyavaharika Prapancha as well as a Paramarthika Tattva. To your theory, your avidya, your concept of creation, all this should be able to explain both. So, if Ekajiva, this Drishti Srishti Vadis take a dream as an example to build up their theory and they explain everything with the example of dream. They explain everything, both Vyavaharika Prapancha and Paramarthika Tattva with the help of dream example. Now say, just as dream is created by an individual, okay, means from the dream looked from the waking standpoint, that you remember. Dream looked from waking standpoint, it looks that a given individual is imagining his dream. In this, what happens when you imagine Ishvara. That means Jiva is creating Ishvara. Okay? Jiva is creating Ishvara. Jiva is creating other Jivas. Jiva is creating the world, worldly objects. Okay? Generally, we say there is a world, there are other Jivas, and there is Ishvara. If world is created by a given individual jiva with his own ignorance, with his personal individual ignorance, if he creates, what happens, then we have to say that it is a jiva who is creating Ishvara. This becomes difficult for all other people to accept. They say, how can jiva create the Ishvara? How can jiva create other jivas? How can one jiva create the world also? In this, what happens if Jiva creates this? So Jiva himself is creating. So therefore, Jiva perceives. Then there is a world. Jiva's perception. Drishti Srishti Vada means what? Jiva's perception. Perception is the world. That's all. You perceive, therefore the world is there. Drishti. I think English expression is better. Sanskrit also explains in its own way. Little complicated it is. Drishti Srishti Vada means perception is the world. But the other one, perception doesn't make the world. You perceive the existing world. Okay? You perceive the existing world is another theory. Okay? Other Vyakhyanakaras. They say that Jiva perceives the existing world created by Ishvara. Jiva perceives the existing world created by Ishvara. That means world exists independently and Jiva only perceives. World exists before he perceives. Before he perceives, world was created. That is other Vyakhyanakaras. But this one particular Drishti Sushtivadi says that there was no world before I perceive. There is no world independent of my perception. I perceive, therefore there is world. Perception is the equal to world. Perception is the world. Okay? There is no world before perception. There is no unperceived world. Okay? No unperceived world. See, there is one 16th century Prakashananda. When Swami Prakashananda of 16th century wrote a book called Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali. It's available even now in Sanskrit. I think some foreigner translated into English. It's a good translation. He has understood well, and his English is good, and he presented translation is very good. It's available, I think. So, which I should read directly in the Sanskrit alone. So, English I didn't read. But somebody told me it's a good translation. So, no unperceived world. So, this Prakashananda of 16th century, he presented this Drishti Sushtivada. Okay, that means perception is the world. There is only perceived world. He says that there is only perceived world, no unperceived world. Perception, perceived alone is the world. Perception is the world. Okay, perception is the world, no unperceived world. So within my perceived world, so world doesn't exist outside my perception, independent of my perception. As I perceive, that much alone is the world. My perception alone is the world. No unperceived world. One point. Okay. Second point is all other jivas are imagination of this jiva. Other jivas are imagination of this jivas. Okay. World is his own perception, doesn't exist. Okay. Then the other jivas are imagination of this jiva. Therefore, other jivas don't exist. Don't exist means what? That's also complicated. Other jivas don't exist means this one jiva is suffering from samsara. Okay, one jiva alone is real. This one jiva is real. All other jivas are only reflections, they don't exist. That means other jivas have no karma, there is no punya, there is no rebirth, there is no punya papa, they have no samsara, they have no moksha. Other jivas don't have to try for moksha, they don't have to gain jnanam because they don't exist, they are only reflections. This is what that Prakashananda of Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha author of 16th century presented this Ekajivavada. Okay. And later Madhusudana Saraswati, they also have adopted and tried to justify it. Not completely, but they have taken two stands, both perceived world and also this what you call Ishvara created world. Drishti Sushtivada, Srishti Drishtivada, they have adopted two and they have tried to explain Prakashananda also. But they have taken this parallelly to, they have taken these two parallel prakriyas of Vedanta. They have taken them as two parallel. They have not reconciled. That's one problem is, one difficulty is, they have not reconciled. They found that it is irreconcilable, these two stands. Drishti Sushtivada, Srishti Drishtivada, they are not two opposite to each other. They cannot be reconciled. They quarrel. these two followers of these two doctrines, two prakriyas, they raise objection against each other, criticize each other. None of them accommodates other. None of them reconciles with other, accommodates other, and has a sympathy for other. They have no sympathy. No sympathy for each other. Each one holds on to his own view and refutes the other's view. Each one are two, like North and South Pole, both are opposite to each other. And Madhusudana Saraswati and certain later Vedantins after 16th century, what they have tried is, they have tried to present them parallelly too. They have neither reconciled them, nor they have mixed them and made into one school. No, they have not mixed, nor they have not merged them into one school. Okay, neither merged nor reconciled nor accommodated, one accommodated into other, but they presented as two parallel prakriyas, so that we will not quarrel. That means it is an artificial unity. Within Advaitins, they tried to present artificial unity. In fact, Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha also tries to present artificial unity. Artificial means they say like this, these people say like this, let us stay together. In spite of differences, in spite of inability to reconcile, we are unable to reconcile, unable to accommodate. One standpoint totally goes against another, yet we accommodate together, take them as a parallel and continue. Ultimately, everything is Brahman. Only at the ultimate level, they say we are all based upon Upanishad. Starting point is we are all based upon Upanishad. Ultimate is we all accept non-dual Brahman. So from the starting point and the ending point alone, we come together. Okay, we come together. In between lot of differences, they retained the parallel to opposite and parallel and opposite to each other, just like that. They have not reconciled. Because to reconcile, what happens? One part of it, the other one has to give up. This fellow has to give up one part of it. Then you have to take it a broader view and reconcile it. So they have not done that. Therefore, they retained two opposite things parallelly until the end. Just even Vivarana Bhamati also did the same thing. They could have reconciled, and in fact, it is Sachidananda Swamiji who reconciled them. In fact, they present that Sachidananda Swamiji is opposite to Panchapadika and Bhamati. In fact, Swamiji has corrected them, reconciled them, and he made them to come together, accommodate each other, because each one was taking such an extreme step. And that extreme step is neither logical, nor in keeping with Anubhava, nor in keeping with Bhashya. It is opposite to Bhashya, illogical and against experience, and unnecessarily excessive, extreme view. And it can't be accommodated with others' view. They remain opposite. So throughout the teaching, these two prakriyas remain opposite to each other. So if they have reconciled, some kind of partly they give up certain wrong stand and extreme stand. If they have given up certain extreme stand, they could be reconciled. In fact, what Swamiji did is a reconciliation alone. Their extreme stand, certain illogical ideas, certain illogical theories you give up just to go with your Anubhava and Shankara, and also logic. 3, reason, Anubhava and Shankara. Shankara's Bhashya, just to go with these things. Whatever is extreme stand, unnecessary, illogical, and then against Anubhava, he asked them to drop. Then they all can be reconciled and they come together and they all become one, united easily. So no thrusted artificial unity, which Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha tries. Not only Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha. Before, shall I tell you a little bit of historical point? Those who are interested in this technical thing. Panchapadika Vivarana, they have developed alternatively one against other. On certain points, not on all. They keep on criticizing each other. Their prakriyas go against each other on certain important points. Okay, ultimately everything is Brahman, all of them are accept. All of them accept. So, unable to reconcile, they remained parallel. As time came, I think around some Vidyaranya time, they found that we shouldn't quarrel being Advaitins. So what they told, they tried to reconcile. How they reconciled? They didn't reconcile. They told that they tried to explain each separately, and in ultimate truth is Brahman. This way they tried to reconcile. That means two parallel paths. That cannot be, that prakriya cannot accommodate this cannot accommodate that. Two separate standpoints, two separate prakriyas, methods, they retained parallel, and then ultimately everything is Brahman. So from Vidyaranya onwards, they have been referring these two parallel standpoints side by side. Side by side, they are unable to reconcile. But why didn't they do? They did not. They tried to retain two parallel standpoints opposite to each other. Take one standpoint and explain Brahman. Take another standpoint, then explain Brahman. Retain two parallelly throughout. Retain two parallelly opposite to each other. They simply say that don't quarrel. Let us live in spite of opposition together. Like a north and pole, let them remain together. Together means they don't come together, but let them remain at a distance, but not quarrel. This is what they attempted, and it has been continuing like that alone. Even Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, only he presents. Siddhanta Lesha Sangrahakara, Appaya Dikshita, presents all these views. Some of them are contradictory also. He doesn't condemn anybody, but he presents how this person creates the other one, criticizes the other one, that person creates this one. He presents their criticism and just leaves them. No reconciliation, no condemnation, just their opposition, how they go against each other, how they mutually criticize. He presents all their quarrels. It's just like a neutral reporter, just like Appaya Dikshita was a reporter like. He reported all various views of Advaitins, how they differ from each other, how they criticize each other's arguments. He simply presents them. Ultimately, everything is Brahman, therefore no quarrel. Then the commentator on Appaya Dikshita's Siddhanta Lesha Sangraha, Krishna Alankara, that Krishnananda, I think, he commenting in Sanskrit commentary. So in that thing he says, see, in the Vyavaharik Prakriya details, they were not serious about it, he says. They were all these various acharyas who presented the various Prakriya in their own way and differing from other, not only differing, rejecting, condemning, criticizing, condemning, yet he says that they were taking his own stand and trying to present the truth according to in his own way. Each one was taking prakriya in his own way and trying to present absolute Brahman. Therefore, though those prakriyas at the level of teaching, at the level of prakriya, they can't be reconciled, doesn't matter, yet ultimate truth they are all one. Therefore, they stand reconciled. So he says that, so in spite of differences, we all are one. So he tried to bring certain artificial imposed reconciliation. He told that even if they cannot be reconciled, doesn't matter. Even if they differ, even if they criticize, it is like this. If one person, one stand, one prakriya criticizes the other has no answer. When the other one criticizes this, he has no answer. He has no convincing answer. Yet, let us continue, he says. In spite of no answer, in spite of differences, let us continue the two differences side by side. And he says, and that commentator, Sanskrit commentator says that Acharyas did not attempt to reconcile because they did not take them seriously. They did not take them seriously. Anyway, it is only a teaching method. We are not teaching the truth. In the truth, we become one. But in the method, in the path, we differ. So what? He says they were not serious about the various methods differing from each other because they took the empirical methodology as lightly. They were interested, they took seriously only the absolute truth, ultimate truth. Therefore, in ultimate truth, they are one, so let them continue. But Sachidanand Swamiji says at one place that if they did not take the prakriya, the methods seriously, if they took them lightly, why did they criticize each other? If they have taken seriously, he should not have answered. He should not have criticized the other prakriya. He answers. He criticizes the other. Other one doesn't keep quiet. He keeps on answering. He opposing, criticizing, condemning this prakriya. And this person opposes the other. Other not only opposes, he keeps on giving argument. Argument. He says it is wrong. How it is wrong? Why it is wrong? He keeps on giving reason. That fellow doesn't keep quiet. He keeps on arguing. When they keep on arguing for days and months and years together, centuries together, how can you say they did not take it seriously? So they just ultimately, without reconciling, they putting side by side, they thought that we have solved the problem. So it is only Swamiji who made them to drop their extreme views, those views which go against reason, against experience, against Bhashyakara. Why do you want to? Why do you want to have a view, have a theory against Bhashya, against reason, against Anubhava, and yet we say, no, we know we can't accommodate it, we can't convincingly explain, yet we will retain it. You know you cannot explain convincingly. You admit the mistakes are there, but still you don't want to drop it. Why? What is the point in retaining like that? Two parallel things which are opposite to each other cannot be accommodated, cannot be reconciled. What is the point in retaining them? Because our previous acharyas told, out of respect for them, they want to retain. I tell you, acharyas would not mind if you drop what is illogical. No acharya, no sincere acharya would mind if you drop what is against reason, what is against Anubhava, what is against Shankara. Any thinker, any satyanveshaka, any serious investigator of truth would not mind dropping his wrong ideas when pointed out by somebody else. Anybody who points out any mistakes, I should be ready to drop them off when they go wrong. That is investigation. That is tattva vichara. So why should we see many? You can see them in our tradition. Many disciples have differed from Guru, and they found that if Guru's certain idea, certain theory, certain idea explanation is not logical, they've just rejected it. Sometimes they modified it, they corrected it. Sometimes they rejected it, and they openly said also, this is not right, so we'll drop it and take an alternative view. So they did not feel that their respect is less for previous acharyas. So therefore, Sachidanandendra Swamiji has taken them and then found that wherever he found certain extreme views against reason, against Bhashya, against this thing, he advised them to drop off. Take what is positively acceptable to Bhashya from this prakriya as well as from that prakriya. Remove those unnecessary extreme ideas, illogical ideas, those ideas against Anubhava. Then what can be reconciled can be easily reconciled. So Swamiji corrected wrong views, reconciled them, brought them to one broad good prakriya. And they are presenting Swamiji as an antagonistic to them. He is trying to wipe out Vyakhyanakaras and all that. Swamiji has neither had an intention nor he has ever attempted in his writings. He only respectfully quoted the Vyakhyanakaras. He only pointed out, see how this is mistake. How this is against reason, against Anubhava, against Shankara Bhashya. He has patiently pointed out again and again and asked them to drop these views, and remaining you retain, they are okay. And the remaining good points, we agree, they are all acceptable to us, it is good. So let us have broadly real reconciliation, real commonness, with by dropping these unnecessary things. So Swamiji's job was more of a Vartika. Vartika means more of correction rather than antagonism, condemnation, rejection, wiping out all these things. He never had intention, nor he attempted. He only tried to point out the mistake, convince them, correct them, and help them to come to the right stand. Okay, I think it is more than 12:30, 12:40. This topic will go on for 2 or 3 days or 4 days. In fact, we have just started. The real problem comes where the world exists or not. Then how do you reconcile? How do these various? We have to explain the empirical reality without contradicting this idealist. Idealists go to the extreme side, uh, and there are certain complications we have to reconcile. It's a very difficult point, but we will do because based upon Shankara and Satchidananda Swami, we'll do discuss more tomorrow. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat.